and welcome back to The Movies Made Us Do It. Me and Matt are back. How are you, Matt?
I'm pretty good. So yourself?
I am not too bad at all. Really enjoyed our movie watch last week, which came out this week due to just, time. It might be a double one this week. There might be 2 episodes out this week. But
nothing wrong with that.
But yeah, Strange Days. Awesome film.
Yeah.
I'm really glad that you sort of suggested it, because it's a film I hadn't watched for a long time, and I really enjoyed rewatching that, and I'm glad I now own it. So it's good.
That worked out quite nicely.
It did indeed.
Yeah,
but,
and I mean, to be honest, I only suggested it because I knew it was set in the
the new year.
In the new year, I thought that was the perfect time to do that. And how much more relevant it seemed to be.
Oh, I'd forgotten how relevant that film was. That was not intentional.
No, not at all.
We're usually the least relevant, so it was a complete coincidence. But like you, I'd completely forgotten just how relevant that film is to today, and in fact more relevant now than ever, probably, than that film's ever been since its release. So an incredible film, really good fun. But today we're back to our usual. We're talking about movies and TV. You want to go first?
Okay.
What have you watched?
I shall start with my first proper movie of the year.
Oh, I've got my first proper movie of the year as well. You go first.
So, Outside of the Wire.
Oh, fuck, that's the same movie.
I thought, that's good.
So, Outside the Wire. Directed...
I'm so glad you've seen it, because, wow, I think, there's a lot to discuss in this movie.
There's quite a bit to talk about, isn't there? That's what I thought. I was secretly hoping you'd have seen this one too, because I was like, there's some things to talk about here.
Yep.
So, directed by Mikael Hafstrom, who did 1408, which I really like.
I actually quite enjoyed that movie.
Really fun.
It's not a great film, but it's actually quite enjoyable.
It's fun though, isn't it? And it's for a King adaptation, it's quite fun. Mainly held together by the cast, I think. But a fun movie. And I also think he did The Right with Anthony Hopkins, which I'm not a big fan of, to be honest.
I've not seen that one.
It's not, again, it's very forgettable.
Yeah, I think I saw the trailers for that and thought, nah.
Yeah, it's not great, in my opinion. Yes, and starring Anthony Mackie and Damson Idris.
Damson Idris.
So, in the near future, a disgraced drone pilot, Lieutenant Harp, played by Damson, is sent into a deadly military zone after disobeying orders. He finds himself working for Captain Leo, played by Anthony Mackie, an android officer tasked with locating a doomsday device before insurgents do. Do you want to kick this one off?
Right, okay, so first off, let's just say, I
have questions.
I don't think I've seen Damson Idris in anything before.
He's great. I actually thought he was really good.
He was in an episode of Black Mirror. Okay.
I thought he was fine. Actually, I thought as
really?
an actor, I thought he was
okay. I guess the problem is, I don't know whether it was just the script.
The script to this film is not good.
That was so bad. Or whether it was his acting.
I was kind of blaming the script, but
Anthony Mackie he's quite a presence, actually. I like Anthony Mackie.
He's great. I think he's got a good leading frontman career ahead of him.
Pull dialogue off. So the fact that this other guy was having trouble with it as well kind of does make me think that it's probably just the dialogue.
There were certain scenes, like the scene outside of the I think is a hotel, where I thought his acting really shone through, and it's like, no, when he's acting, not necessarily with dialogue, but when he's acting in scenes, I was like, he's pretty good.
Yeah, I think I probably would agree with that. I think it's just that also, I guess his character is so fucking unlikable that it's not helped. It all compounds, I think, the issues. So first of all, he's this drone pilot.
Yeah. Right? So we have this opening where we've
done in a number of movies
for sure,
that have been very good. Let's just say,
because you watched a drone movie not so long ago, actually, didn't you?
Yeah, I did.
I remember.
I forget which one it was. What was it called now? So
I actually thought it might be this one when I started watching it, and then I saw that it was released like this month or whatever, and I thought, oh no, obviously not.
No, it's not that one. It's so he when he says he's asked at one point how many hours he's had, and it's like
real combat experience,
something like 56,000 hours, which is like, really? How old are you?
But also,
are you like 57 or something.
But also no combat experience.
Yeah, exactly.
They've given no combat experience to this drone pilot. He just sits there eating donuts and flying drones or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gummy bears.
Gummy bears. Sorry.
Gummy bears. Yeah. He eats gummy bears. And it's just, it's sort of also, it's like, so the decision he makes, I mean, fuck it, we might as well
we're going to spoil this one,
the beginning anyway.
Yeah.
The beginning tells you, the advert kind of tells you. He basically makes a decision where he kills 2 soldiers
to save 38 or so.
To save 38, right? Yeah. Now, my other problem...
And by the way, he was right.
Of course he was right.
So we're off to a good start here because this is the whole setup, right? He's disgraced because he killed 2 soldiers.
Mm-hmm.
But he was
about 30 other soldiers that were
right.
out. One of them has a launcher, which is going to take out them.
Absolutely right.
Yeah.
So
the other thing...
Because the movie kind of goes at it like, oh, your behavior was wrong, and you're going to learn a lesson in this movie. But it's like, yeah, he was right, though. Like, you should have had it so that they didn't have a launcher and he made a mistake. And then you would have been like, okay, like, now he's going to learn a lesson.
But also, the soldiers themselves are laughable.
Right.
I didn't believe for 1 minute that any of those people playing soldiers had any sort of training, had any idea what fucking end of the gun they were pointing.
Yeah.
They were absolutely useless. And the commander, the guy that was Miller, the guy that was on it's like, he's going, oh, I've got to get my people. It's like, well, then fucking do something.
Go and get them then.
Like, make a decision, do something. You've got vehicles there. Drive a vehicle up in front of them.
Well, the problem is, the problem that I had immediately with this video game opening of a video game of an opening is the and I know we'll get into this because this is the wider discussion of this movie. I get that, but right off the bat, there are soldier drones, robots.
Yes,
more than capable of dealing with this situation. I didn't know why there were people there at all. Like, why are there any soldiers on the ground at this point? Why don't you just have 1 or 2 of the drones piloted by soldiers? But like, literally, there's no reason for the soldiers to even be there or be in harm's way in the first place. And also, why didn't you send the drones in? Why didn't you send the drones in to save the people, the 2 soldiers? Like, you could have literally done that.
They do take out the 2 of the drones quite quickly.
They do.
But you think, but then you sort of think, well, okay, so just simple sort of like orders of suppressing fire, and having the drones move in at the same time.
Yeah,
should have like made that pretty easy to come, to overcome. But their decision making was just fucking appalling.
Yeah,
it was literally they had to set it up and they had to do it that way so that they had no choice but to do it the way they did. But it's like, but
there are so many reasons why this should never have happened.
Yeah.
Like, just send the drones in. It makes no sense. Send the robots in instead of people. Problem solved. Or you'd say, right, okay, so you've got your real soldiers on the front line, and they're there to direct because they can direct. That's for argument's sake. Say they can direct better than these drone soldiers can.
Yeah.
But send the bloody drones in first. Send them down there. Why are you sending 2 humans that way when you could just send 2 drones? Like, I don't understand. And I know the wider discussion of this movie is about drones versus human, and fine. And we'll get to the problems that raises in a bit. But right off the bat, I was just like, well, A, he was right in what he did.
Yeah.
So I immediately am like, well, he doesn't need to learn a lesson. He was right. He did his job. Disobeyed direct order. Fair enough. But he was right. And we see that he's right. We see on the screen they had a weapon. They point out the window. He's like, he sees it, right?
Yeah.
So he's right. Secondly, I don't know why the people were there in the first place. Just send the drones in. So I was immediately like, okay. Fine.
And also that it's like the all of the soldiers are so sort of like when they're given orders, they're all like, none of them, there's a bit later on where they have like a face off with some militia guys over a truck, and the captain's giving orders to his men, and it's like they question every order.
Yeah.
Like, oh, should we be doing this, sir? It's like, no, you're a fucking soldier. You do as you're fucking told. What is wrong with you fucking people?
No one in this film, does what they're told. Like nobody. Not even Anthony Mackie's cyborg does what he's told. I mean, like, literally no one. It's like a wonder that America in this film is even a power at this point, given how like insubordinate everyone that works for them is.
The petty squabbling alone would be enough to sort of make them absolutely, completely useless.
Yeah. So he disobeys a direct order.
Yep.
Saves countless lives in the process, but he disobeys a direct order, and they blame him for the death of these two soldiers. And he's then sent to some remote outpost in disgrace to kind of learn. I guess they're going to send him into actual war or actual combat to learn
where the drone was, doesn't he?
What? Probably should have given these people some military experience up front before you got them flying drones around to learn that lesson.
Yeah, I would have thought so, wouldn't you?
I don't know. Maybe I am completely naive and wrong about this. My assumption would be that drone pilots for the military have had military expert service of some kind. Like they've actually trained at least.
Are actual pilots,
or they're actual pilots who have previously flown combat missions. So that I could be wrong, but that's my assumption. Would be like that he would have already had some experience. He's got none, right?
Yeah.
Like, doesn't even seem to know how to hold a gun. But anyway, so he's sent to this remote outpost in disgrace to learn his lesson. And while he's there, he meets Captain Leo, played by Anthony Mackie, who has requested him specifically for this top secret mission.
Yeah.
But all is not as it appears with Leo, as we soon discover that he is a cyborg from the distant future, because his technology is like light years ahead of all of the drone soldiers and everything else in this movie, and they never explain why. He's just like a fourth generation super cyborg that no one's talked about.
They say he's basically a prototype, don't they? I think.
But there's prototypes, and then there's this. I mean, they've gone from like the drones on the ground.
Yeah, the chappy looking droids.
The chappy looking droids, which I quite like the design of, by the way.
I love the design of that. And I actually do think they're very well done.
They are. The CG's are a bit dodgy in places in this movie, but the design is great. The design of that is awesome. But the design of those drones, those drone soldiers, the robot soldiers, are completely at odds with the design of Anthony Mackie. Yeah. Because, like, all right, he's made to look human, which in itself is quite a leap from where we are then anyway. But like everything about him, like he's like transparent and he's got all of these weird things going on inside of him. It's like this technology seems like it's like 100 years ahead of the drone soldiers.
Also, I don't think they actually had a plan on what he looked like.
Yeah, it's like an afterthought, isn't it? It's like they just decided later to be like, oh, what should we do?
There's a scene later on in the movie, where Mackie gets him Harp to remove the tracker. Now he cuts open his back with a knife, and he's pulling out this tracker.
Yeah.
Now the facial expression
looks like he's looking at guts and stuff, doesn't it?
Yeah. It looks exactly like
he looks disgusted, like he's going to throw up. He's got to look away out the window while he does it.
Like going, but nothing he's doing
is anything like that.
It makes you just think, well, he's just just lights and wires.
It's just transparent with lights inside of him. It's like that's all it is.
So I don't think they actually had a plan for what the.
I think you might be right. I think they might have just handed that CG off to a different company and just went like, just make something fancy. And people that hadn't seen the other designs in the movie, because it just feels like he's from a different film.
Yes.
To be honest, like from a design standpoint, he just looks like he's light years away from what everything else in the movie. For me, it was just too much of a disconnect between this quite grounded, realistic world that they're trying to go for. All right, we've got robot soldiers, but I could see that happening. It's like 2035 or something, I think they say. So I could see that happening within 2 decades. We could probably have that. We've near enough got that now.
Well, we know they're working on. I've seen footage of American drones. And stuff that you've
exactly.
Seen
so that's possible. Anthony Mackie's cyborg is not going to be possible by then. I'm going to go out on a limb here and egg on my face in 2 decades' time if they have. But honestly, like, you know, he's made of light, and it's just bizarre. It's really a real disconnect for me. But anyway, he meets up with Leo, and they have to go on this mission to stop this nuclear attack.
No, that's not. No, the first thing is they're supposed to be delivering antibiotics to.
Oh, of course. Sorry. Yes, that's right.
And then it all spirals out.
It all spirals from there.
And like basically, it turns out that like Leo, Anthony Mackie's character, has been kind of lying to him all along when they get out, and that he's supposed to need him as a sort of, you know, just not exactly to control him, but to sort of keep him in check, isn't it?
So he's got some laws and rules, like the laws of robotics in this film.
Yeah.
Which apparently are up to interpretation by the cyborg.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm like, okay, he could just choose to be like, well, that's not how I interpret this rule, so therefore, like, really? Because at first it sort of changes throughout the movie, where at first it's like, I can't disobey without an officer being here to make me disobey. But then it's like, surely in your programming you wouldn't have been allowed to get to this situation where you can set it up. Like, it's like, what kind of, you know, like, you've got Asimov's laws of robotics, which are really clear laws to stop robots doing, you know, getting out of control. And here it's just like, well, the robot interprets that to mean like, well, I can't break the rules unless I trick someone else into breaking the rules. Apparently, that's fine.
Yeah, that's okay. That's fine. And the other thing I didn't understand
as well is not lying to your superior officers or fellow soldiers be like the number one bloody rule or number two.
Who builds like this massive, like, I mean, I imagine he's worth like billions and billions.
I would imagine so.
Dollars,
he's made of space tech.
So who makes this cyborg operative, right? And then just lets him do stuff. It's like, surely he'd have like a control team.
Do you know? Because I thought the twist was going to be that he was actually human, injured in battle.
Yeah,
and
that's exactly what I thought.
Yeah, which is why I thought he was going like off the rails. When he started going off the rails, I thought it was going to be like, well, actually, he's got a human brain in there, and he's an ex-soldier who got blown up, maybe in a drone strike. That would have
made a lot more sense.
Well, wouldn't it? But you know, but he's not. No, he's a cyborg, but he seems to be able to interpret the rules and laws as he sees fit, and trick people into allowing him to break the you know, his orders and his rules. And
they keep, I think that they think they're being clever when they keep bringing out all these cliches like the Russian
it's full of cliches.
It's you know, it's not this and it's not that, and he's like, it's like, no, I saw that coming every time, like 5 minutes before, like in some cases like 20 minutes before you even started that. There
was very little in this film that in any way surprised me. And the only times it did was when the film just made no sense.
Yeah.
It was just like, well, I assumed he was probably human because he was breaking rules and stuff. And like how would you not program a cyborg to tell it to not remove or have anyone remove its tracking device? Like, why would you even allow a cyborg to even say those words?
It turns out that it's not his tracking device anyway, is it?
No,
it's an inhibitor.
It's an inhibitor, which like, surely you wouldn't even let the cyborg be aware of, or if it was there, it would just literally, you could never allow it to
hope.
I
mean, or maybe just have a subtle some sort of explanation as to, you know, that he's obviously like exceeded his programming.
Yeah.
Okay, with a simple couple of lines of dialogue, you could have that. It's like with the tracker and that, you could say, well, I don't know I've got one, but I've worked out and
yeah,
that I probably have one.
Yeah. Or like, oh, by the way, Lieutenant Harp, you're the person you're meeting is this top secret cyborg.
Well, only one other person was supposed to know he was a cyborg,
but that one other person that knew, should have, Lieutenant Harp, you're going to meet this person. It's top secret. You can't tell anyone. He's a cyborg. Don't know why we're trusting you with this, even though even though he's asked for you, because you are basically insubordinate, and I'm not sure we can trust you with this top secret information. But we are. Yeah. So now that we are, if you...
How about we not let this guy who disobeys orders go anywhere near the £1 billion equipment?
Well, yeah, exactly. But we've made that mistake, and we've decided to do that now against our better judgment. But by the way, if you say "fuck off, cyborg" to him, you'll shut him down.
Yeah.
Just in case he gets out of control. So we've got failsafe. We've got these 3 words you say, and then he'll shut down.
You're giving this more fault than they fucking did.
I know, but it was so bizarre because it was like it was my issues with the design of him versus the design of the others, and it seemed like a big disconnect in tech. That aside, and the opening aside, it was very generic, this movie, to begin with. It was a very generic movie. Had some like reasonable scenes, but then some around the halfway part,
scenes were really nice.
They were well choreographed,
really well done.
I really liked the hotel scene when they were outside the hotel. I thought that was really tense. It was well filmed when he's trying to rescue that woman, and the drone shoots, the robot shoots. I thought that was all great. But then, like halfway through the movie, or just after that scene, this film just goes fucking off its rocker. It's just like, what are you doing? Like, it's like you're just trying to be clever by introducing these twists, but the twists are just stupid. Like, it just doesn't make any sense. Nope. So, turns out we are spoiling this movie. Turns out that Leo's gonna go in. He's gonna go and set off some nukes to nuke America. That's his plan. Because then that will mean that he has failed as an experiment, and they won't
make any
cyborgs anymore. Right? So he doesn't. Presumably, his rules that are open to interpretation won't allow him to kill Harp. So he kicks him out of the car, and Harp gets picked up by the Resistance, argues with the Resistance lady, then goes back to HQ, doesn't he? Yeah. And at HQ, he basically says, "Look, like, I know all about him being..." Because he says to the one other guy who knows he's an android, he's like, "Oh, he's an android, and he's going to destroy America." And they're like, "Yeah, you can't prove that because we know that he's dead. He's dead. He died in the drone strike because they have a drone strike on the hotel." But of course, Harp has removed the device, the tracking device or inhibitor, which also works as a tracking device, I guess, because it is later a tracking device, even though it was also an inhibitor. Fine, he's removed that, and they think he died in the drone strike. And he's like, no, you didn't, because I removed the inhibitor. And they're just like, what the fuck? Why the fuck would you do that? And he's just like, well, he tricked me. And it's like, right, okay, so you were originally insubordinate. We've sent you on this mission. You've now broken rules and allowed this cyborg to go untracked to start this nuclear attack. But he's like, but I am really sorry, guys. I fucked up, all right? And they're like, you fuck off, death penalty. But no, instead of that, they're like, no, fine.
We believe you.
We'll trust you. We'll trust you again. So he gets in touch with his
fellow...
And
that's the other thing about that made me laugh in this movie. The word trust gets banged
it does, doesn't it?
Around like so much. You're like,
it really does.
Why? When he says to him, do you trust me? It's like, no. I've just met you.
Yeah,
fuck would I trust you?
And you might be an alien for all I know.
Exactly.
Because no one told me that I was meeting a super secret cyborg. So wouldn't I just, upon seeing you, think, what are you? I wasn't given these orders. I wasn't given details on this. You're not human. Like, what? Why would I trust you?
I need your trust. Anyway. It's like, well, okay, well then fucking earn it. It's like, these people. It's like there's nobody who wrote this script have any idea how trust works. So is that how do they just think? So you just meet someone 5 minutes later, you trust them. That's fine.
So speaking of trust, Harp then gets in touch with his fellow drone pilot who we met in the opening of the movie, and he's like, "Can you do this off the books? I need you to trust me." And she's like, "Sure."
Yeah, I need you to track this car.
I need you to track this car.
The car he's got is the warlord who he's killed now.
Yeah, he's sorry.
I feel so sorry for that dude. I love him. He's great. I've got to try and find his name because he's a great actor.
He is.
He mostly plays bad guys, but
he's underused massively here.
I've seen him in Pilo Asbeck. He was Briar Rios in Ghost in the Shell. So not Briar Rios. Batu.
Yeah.
And he's really good, but he's like literally he's in it for like 5 minutes, and it's like oh he's done. It's like oh right okay.
But so they use the drone. This drone pilot decides to use, and I don't know how she does this in secret because it's on a massive screen that everyone can see. But it's like fine. So she does that, and I also don't know because wasn't he in command before the guy that they're now speaking to? So it's like well just use it like. He gives you authorization. He's right next to me.
So I didn't understand as well. It's like, they don't seem to know how the chain of command works.
No, it's like
this guy's clearly a fucking general.
Yeah.
Is it like, I need you to use it off the books. It's like, no, they're hunting somebody who's going to fire nuclear weapons.
Yeah.
Of course they want you to fucking track him.
But then they use the drone to fly over and track him, and they find the car, and then I'm like, blow it up now.
Exactly. You've got a drone there.
End of film.
Missiles on it. Blow it up.
Blow it up right now.
Before he gets to where he's going.
Or
and the other thing that makes me laugh is
and then they don't do that and they lose him for a moment, but then they figure out where he's going and it's like, well then send the drone there now and blow that up.
Yeah.
But instead of that, they send a fully equipped, massive military team in like an APC up to the place to take out the android. No. They don't do that. They send the one untrained rookie, disobeyed orders rookie, disgraced former drone pilot with no military experience. They send him on his own, to try and stop this super cyborg. What and not only that, the fuck?
It's like he also he goes he leaves the command center or whatever it is, and you get that sort of moment with the other captain where he doesn't exactly say oh you're okay sort of thing, but you get that feeling that it's like oh respect. I forgive you for killing my men now. It's like really. Okay, whatever. I mean, he doesn't actually say that. He says, I never want to see you again. But he treats him like he's okay with him now. And it's like, he sends him off. And he, like, arrives 5 minutes, like, after Anthony Mackie's been there.
Yeah, I mean, Anthony Mackie by then would have launched the nukes.
Yeah.
I mean, like, by the time he actually gets there. Because they don't even fly him there.
No.
It's just like, no, just drive in this civilian car. Like... What the fuck? And they should have just like drone could have just taken him out on the road, and that would have been solved.
Yeah, that would. I mean, he's already. They know he's in the car.
They know what he's going to do.
They've already, know, exactly. They already know exactly what his intentions are. So why on earth would you let him get there?
Yeah,
it's just it's ridiculous.
And then in the end of the movie. Leo, Anthony Mackie's cyborg character, says, "Look, he basically gets disabled, and but he has launched. He's set the launch in motion. He's like, look, I need them to stop this project because machines. People are too complacent with machines, and we need to get back to real soldiers getting killed instead.
It will be eternal war if they." Make more of me, basically, is what he says.
And the moral of the story is that, humans need to be involved, not drones. Yeah. And then, to solve the whole situation, they use a drone.
Yeah.
So, drones are bad, but drones also resolve the entire fucking situation.
Yeah. And also, how the fuck does he get out of that fucking vicinity?
Magic.
He literally just runs, like... Okay, first of all, we saw you get in that place. You had to go through all this fucking stuff, all these buildings.
And that was the thing. I thought he was going to make the sacrifice there. I thought he was like, okay, this is his moment. He's going to sacrifice himself for the people he's killed.
Yeah.
Nope.
It would have been a much better ending if he would have let him do nuke. I mean, they're not going to let him nuke America, but that would have been a much better
that would have been a great ending. But also, why didn't his little things like, he's a super advanced space-age cyborg. Why couldn't they just have, like, the drone coming in to follow him in the car and then just have the drone disabled? Because it's like, oh, he's got some, like, interference thing. He's disabled the drones.
First of all, when it gets there...
But they track him for a while.
It goes down, and then it's like, oh, well, I thought you had... There was some sort of thing, and then all of a sudden they're just looking at it again. It's like, oh, okay,
Yeah.
that makes sense.
But like, if the drone had fallen out of the sky as soon as it got close, then you'd be like, okay, they can't drone strike him. That makes sense. But yeah, this movie was a real mess. I went from like, oh, this is generic and forgettable, to like, this is truly, really rubbish towards the end. You know, by the end of the movie, I was just like, wow, this is not great at all.
It was another one of those movies where I kept pausing it to see how much time I had left.
I walked away. I watched it over 2 days.
Did you really?
Yeah, I did. I watched the first half.
I
watched the first half, and I was just looking at my phone so often that I was like, oh, I'm just going to stop. And then the next day I was like, oh, we've got the show tomorrow. I'm going to watch. I went back and I watched like the bits where I started looking on my phone and I finished it. And I was like, oh, God. And it's not a long film. It's really not that long.
Fucking feels long.
It does. Well, maybe it was long. I don't know.
It's an hour 54,
so
it's not
That's
short.
True. They could have
it's
cut
not a short movie.
Because I was
like
out of that.
halfway through, I was like, Christ, this has gone on long enough. How much left have I got? I got fucking 40 minutes left? What the fuck are you talking about? It's like, where is this movie going for 40 minutes?
Yeah. Well, we know now, don't we?
Yeah. I mean, on the plus side, some of the action was really good.
Oh, by the way, I should say...
good. Mackie is good.
Mackie was great.
With what he's got, you know.
I thought the cast were fine with what they had. I just think they just didn't have very much to go with.
The dialogue was so appalling.
Yeah. I should say as well, on the point where I said, if you couldn't nuke him in the car, you should just... if you couldn't get him with the drone in the car, you should have got him with the drone in the base before, Harp even gets there. They make it very clear that the nukes will not... There will be no ramifications of drone striking a nuclear facility. So it's fine. No, like it won't cause any problems. So just to say, it would have been a perfectly viable option to have just blown the bloody thing up. But never mind. Yeah,
I mean, the whole idea of like, if there's a chance that these nuclear weapons are going to be launched, then and there's a chance to stop it, I think the military would probably take it.
They
wouldn't rely on some
one guy.
Kid.
They certainly wouldn't. They would have at least sent like a massive team of people, like a full like trained, special forces.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
With like drones as backup and like and they certainly wouldn't have sent him in a civilian car. I mean, it wasn't even like it wasn't even a sports car or anything fast. It was like, wasn't it just like a family saloon or something?
Do you know what? I can't remember. I only watched it the other day.
I watched it yesterday.
I'm sure it's not a military car. I'm pretty sure it was just a normal car.
Yeah, but like you didn't even fly him in with a team. I mean, why was he even going? He's insubordinate twice in this movie.
Yeah.
By this point,
none of
they've
it
got
makes
no
sense.
reason to trust him.
It's almost like they've. I mean, I don't understand how you make sort of the decisions about the military they did.
It's
like even a cursory search or even watching movies with military people in would give you a little bit more of an idea of how they react and how they they're trained, because these people have no idea what they're doing at all.
No, it's a real mess. It is a real mess. But you're right. The acting's pretty good. Some scenes, some fun action set pieces in there. But wow, what a mess overall.
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't with all good conscience recommend this movie.
No, like you, I was very bored, and when I wasn't bored, I was just perplexed and just like, why? What is the message here that you're trying to... Because it sends very mixed messages as well. Like, I understand what it was trying to do, but...
It thinks it's really clever, it doesn't... It gives such a muddy message that you...
And
when it's know what it's trying to say properly.
I would say that yes, it's a muddy mess of a message, a contradictory mess of a message. They don't get their message across very well at all. No. When they're at their best, it's just massively cliched.
Yeah,
that's like when they're at their absolute best. It's just a massive cliche. So yeah, I cannot recommend this one, I'm afraid.
No.
Outside the Wire, and I hope that Netflix's movie a month improve upon this, because this was not great.
I mean, their movies are we've said before they're fucking hit and miss anyway.
They are, but they've had some hits.
They've had some really good ones recently. That Extraction was fucking awesome.
I enjoyed Extraction. That was good fun. In fact, I was reminded of Extraction a few times while watching this, just like because that was like the most comparable Netflix movie I've seen, and I was like, wow, that was so much better than this film.
Yeah. I'm just looking at what the writer's done before. Outside the Division. Oh, it looks like I think he's written computer games.
Okay. Fair enough.
Fair point. Division, yeah.
So maybe it's his first movie. I mean,
Crisis 3. Oh, Haze. Crisis 2. Okay, so looks like he's written mostly computer games.
Okay, it felt like a computer game.
It really did feel like a computer game.
Yeah,
and not a very good computer game.
No. So, have you watched anything else, Matt?
I have. I have watched The Midnight Sky.
Tell me about The Midnight Sky.
So, this is another Netflix movie.
Yeah.
It came out, I think, just before Christmas or around Christmas. And it's George Clooney, Felicity Jones, David Oyelowo, Caroline Springle, Carl Chandler, and a couple of other people. It's directed by George Clooney, and it's based on a book by Lily Brooks Dalton. So basically, this is like the last one. It's set slightly in the future. I think it's set in something like 2049 or something.
Right.
And some unknown disaster is basically just about to completely fuck the world.
Okay.
And basically make it completely uninhabitable.
Sure.
And George Clooney's character, who is this sort of this scientist, is in this observatory in the Arctic. And at the very beginning, it's being evacuated. Everybody's basically going home to die. Basically, they're going. They basically say that there's like bunker. It says that there are bunkers somewhere, but fuck knows how long they'll survive or whatever. Anyway, they never specify what exactly happened. All you know is that it's fucked, and it's the world basically. Air is going to completely be unbreathable.
Okay.
Very shortly, right? So he is. He's got terminal cancer. So he just decides to stay in this facility in the Arctic.
Sure, he's just going to live out the last few hours of his life and be done with it.
Yeah, he's living on this base. He's sort of he's using dialysis. He keeps sort of himself up. And at the very beginning, when they're evacuating, one of the women says about her she can't find her daughter. Someone says, "Oh no, that your daughter's already been on went ahead. She's fine." So that happens. And meanwhile, a bit later, he discovers that there's this girl living on the base that he didn't. That sort of turns up. A few sort of things happen, and he sort of like a fire happens, and he goes to put it out, and then he finds the girl and all that sort of stuff. Meanwhile, in space.
That's a wonderful, wonderful sentence.
Exactly.
Meanwhile, in space is a great sentence.
There is the crew of this ship that is coming back from a moon of Jupiter.
Okay.
So this, so it's Felicity Jones and David Oyelowo, and they're on this sort of like long sort of like spaceship station sort of thing that's gone to this place to find out whether it's inhabitable and to find out whether we can sort of colonize it sort of thing.
Sure. So this is in desperation to the oncoming.
Well, no, not at all.
Oh, just coincidence.
This is they've been sent out just to sort of
okay, cool,
for the future of humanity.
Yeah. Fair enough.
They're on their way back. They've been to the planet. They've discovered that it is habitable, and they're on their way back, and they can't get hold of Earth. They've had no contact with Earth. They don't know what's going on. So Clooney realizes that these people are out there because he had something to do with this, the project anyway. He
sure.
I don't know whether I can't remember whether he actually made the project or whether he was.
Well, presumably
he's instrumental in it anyway.
Presumably they've been gone for years anyway, right? I mean, or have they got like faster than light? Or
I don't think so. No, I don't think they've got faster than light.
So he maybe set it up in his youth or like early on, and now he's.
Well, you do see flashbacks to when he was younger. His younger self is played by the guy who played Spock in Discovery.
Oh, okay.
It's a bit weird, but okay.
He's all right. I mean, he's not very good as Spock, but
not as Spocky, is it? But that's not his fault.
Again, script. That's not his fault. Yeah, I think
exactly.
I think he'd be a fine Spock given the right lines and direction. Yeah. But yeah, anyway.
So he basically realizes he wants to. He's trying to get hold of this ship and tell them to basically go back. Don't come to Earth because Earth is fucked. Go back, but he can't reach them with the equipment he has there.
Right.
So he and the girl have to basically go to make it to another part of the Arctic where they've got this this other station has a more powerful transmitter that they can use.
Right.
So you've got these two stories going along where you've got the the spaceship has decided that because they've had no word, they're going to go through an uncharted zone to get back quicker.
Right.
And all that, so you get the usual spacewalks and meteor showers, and you get all that sort of stuff. And then you get George Clooney and this girl traveling across the wilderness to get to this other station.
Sure.
Right. So here's the thing. The performances are great.
I've heard particularly good things about George Clooney's performance. Actually, I was going to say
he's really good. But I mean, you
expect it. Yeah, you expect it.
George Clooney, he's not one of my favorite actors, but he's actually very good.
He's rarely terrible.
No, it's
if ever.
I can't think of any time that he's been completely awful.
No.
I mean, I even love him in the Attack of the Killer Tomatoes, but
yeah. And I always thought he'd make a good Batman given the right script. I'll say that as well.
Yeah, I do.
Can't blame him for Batman and Robin.
He was completely stiffed with that.
He was.
But at that point, it was all about the villains, not Batman anyway. So
absolutely,
he got completely stiffed on that. The performances are great. The actress Carolyn Springle, who's playing the little girl, is fantastic. She's really sweet, and the sort of relationship with those two is really good. The people on the spaceship, again, their performances are great. They're just not given enough to do.
Mm-hmm.
And it's another one of those. It's so cliche ridden. It's like you get the meteor showers, the spacewalk. It's completely by the numbers.
Right.
And you're sort of you watch it and you think, okay, this is going to happen, and this is going to happen, and that's that, and that's that, and there's a plot twist which is like, well, it's not really a plot twist because, again, I saw it coming a mile off.
Sure.
And I so wanted to like this movie more, but again, it was so cliche ridden and boring. It was just the performances are the only thing that saves it.
Sure.
It's
frustrating.
It's massively frustrating because you could see that it
had
obviously
potential.
Clooney really loves this project. You can see that he really wants it.
Yeah.
And I think he himself described it as Gravity mixed with The Revenant.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. I enjoyed Gravity in the cinema. It was a good cinema experience.
I absolutely. Gravity is a fantastic movie just for the pure cinema of it.
Yeah, it's one of those films I've not rewatched actually, but
I have.
In the cinema, it was breathtaking.
Yeah.
It was amazing. I mean, I don't think the plot was much. It was very silly, but
I don't
it was wow, what a spectacle. Yeah.
With that one, it was literally, and there's some seriously silly bits in that. But
I think that was the first film for me.
Just go with it because it's so
go with it. It was the first film I would say since I saw Jurassic Park in the cinema for me to like literally have that reaction of like when it opened I was like wow.
Yeah.
Like when I first saw dinosaurs walking in Jurassic Park I was like oh my god. That was the feeling I had in space, the opening of Gravity. It was like oh my god.
I mean, I'm
in space.
It was the only good movie.
That was George Clooney as well, wasn't it?
It was George Clooney, yes. That's it.
All I could think about was Sandra Bullock. I got distracted.
It was one of the only movies where I really loved the 3D as well.
Yeah, the 3D was great.
I genuinely when the sort of one of the sort of meteors are coming in. I think it's the second time. I genuinely ducked.
I know. Yeah. It was really good.
You know, it was that good that I was so in it that I actually fucking ducked when something came towards me, and that never happened.
No, it was tremendous. And The Revenant's a great movie as well. So that's a good combination we've got there, because we've got substance with The Revenant and spectacle with gravity.
Those are comparisons that you just don't want to make.
I guess not, unless your movie's amazing.
Exactly. This is neither of those.
Okay, that's a shame.
It really isn't, and I think maybe with a few tweaks, some of the space stuff could have gone, because there were a number of things that, like, kind of like the last movie, there are like decisions that you just go, why are you doing that? Why would you do that? Because I mean, also it's never so, how much do I want to get into this? Okay, I'm gonna spoil it, so forgive me, but so eventually, you know, they get message through, they decide that they're going to go back, right?
Yeah.
But one of the crew members dies. Oh god, I'm really spoiling this. One of the crew members dies in a meteor shower, right?
Mm-hmm.
So there are 4 people left, right? So Felicity Jones's character and Oyelowo are together. They're a couple. Felicity Jones is pregnant, right?
On a space flight.
And I believe that was written in because Felicity Jones was genuinely pregnant.
So did she get pregnant while in space? Or did they send a pregnant woman into space?
They don't explain that. I'm guessing
they should.
I'm guessing it was while they were out.
That would make sense, because it would be a long trip. Pretty silly thing to do in space, but fine.
Yeah. So one of the guys, he's got a wife and kids on Earth, right?
Sure.
So he decides he's going to take one of the shuttles. They've got 2 shuttles, and he's going to take one of the basically Clooney gives them calculations to slingshot the ship back round the Earth so that they can get back to this moon on Io, on the moon of Jupiter. Sorry, right. But on the way round, this guy says, "Okay, I'm going to go and find my wife and kids." So I'm taking the shuttle, and another guy says, "Well, you need 2 people to fly the shuttle, so I'm coming with you as well." And you think, why? I'm sorry. I know you want to find your wife and kids and stuff, but you can. When they get to see what Earth looks like, they know it's fucked. You know, they everything about this says they are not going to survive, right? But they go anyway. They leave, right? So basically, the other 2 are just left on this big ship to go back to Jupiter, right? Now, okay, so my question is that it?
Yeah.
Do they have any other like facilities to like colonize the planet? Because otherwise,
do they have enough fuel to get back to the planet?
Well, I think that's what the slingshot's for.
Oh, okay. So the plan is to that makes okay, fair enough. So they're just going to use their own momentum to go back.
I think so. Yeah.
Okay.
Which is like okay, but
that's fine. That's fine. That works.
Yeah, but that's it. It's like, so that basically means they're going to get to the Jupiter. There's going to be 2 people there.
Presumably that doesn't solve the oxygen problem. But they're
going to. Well, no. Apparently the air is breathable. It's completely fine.
Oh no, I meant the oxygen in space.
Oh yeah,
for
exactly.
The trip back.
Yeah. Well, they've got a
backup.
They've got a big sort of garden pod and all that sort of stuff.
Oh, okay, no, fair enough. Yeah. So they're making their own oxygen.
It is quite a big ship, so you presume
which you would expect for such a long trip. So that's fine.
But then so they're going to get there. They're going to have a daughter.
Do you think it's sequel baiting for?
And that's going to be it? No, I don't think so. I think it just sets up that I think you're supposed to watch it and not ask questions. But there were a number of things where I just thought, well, that means there's only going to be a couple living on this planet, and they're just going to die out. So at the end of the day, everybody's dead. There's no.
Oh yeah, the human race is done for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's no point to any of it. It's like.
Wouldn't you just look at each other and just be like, do we really want to raise a kid in this situation? Let's just like plow this thing into the nearest sun and be done with it. Like, yeah, okay. Did you? I'm assuming you don't really recommend that one, or half recommend it, I guess, because of the performances.
I guess I would recommend it over the other one.
Yeah.
And you know, like I said, the performances are really good. There's There's another twist that I haven't spoiled, but you will see it coming a mile off if you see anything like this. Can I recommend it? Probably not, really.
Okay.
I mean, I guess if you've got nothing else to watch and you want
there's always something else to watch.
Space movie that has pretty good performances, then yes, but I don't think I can.
Okay.
No.
Is there anything else that you've watched?
No, not movie-wise.
Not movie-wise. Let's talk about good things.
Yeah.
Let's talk about it. Did you finish watching the Transformers series?
I have not yet.
Okay, we won't go on that. Let's talk about Cobra motherfucking Kai.
Let's.
Which, for me, is honestly improving season on season.
Yeah.
I would say. There was a moment in season 2 where I was like, ooh, are you going to go a bit off the rails here? Nope.
Yep.
Season 3, I finished in one sitting.
Yep.
I was just that hooked. I was like, I want to see the next episode. I want to see what happens next. I thought it did a tremendous job of furthering every character's story, building upon relationships, building upon situations from the first 2 seasons, introducing new characters, introducing old characters.
Yeah. And the only character I thought was beginning to get a bit short shrift was Hawk. I thought, okay, Hawk's beginning to stagnate here.
It was worth it towards the end, though.
And then towards the end, it was like, oh, finally, they're doing something with Hawk.
Because I was wondering if they were going to do that. And I'm really glad they did. It was like, no, this was such a good, feel-good moment towards the end.
I do think the problem they have is they do have quite a lot of characters. So I think they do quite difficult trying to keep track of everybody and give everybody something to do.
Well, I'm assuming
slightly disappointed that Nicole Brown's character wasn't in this season. They basically said at the beginning that because of the brawl, she got shipped off somewhere else.
Yeah.
Which was a bit. It's like, oh, I quite liked her character.
I think there's probably room for her to
hopefully
return.
She'll come back.
Yeah. And obviously this one. Being funny enough, being season 3, deals with a lot of things that are in the Karate Kid 3. So we have a lot of that stuff going on. Mm-hmm. It's 3, isn't it? Or is it 2? It was 2 and 3. It's 2 and 3, I guess. It's a bit of both. But yeah, you're right. Sorry, I was just thinking which was the one when Miyagi goes home. That's 2, isn't it?
That's 2.
That's 2. So it deals with a lot of that, but then also some of season 3 as well. We get some really good flashbacks to Kreese's origin, as it were, which I thought were tremendous. We got to finally see Vietnam, which this is the thing I really like about this show as well, is that they're taking a very one-dimensional, just asshole, horrible villain, evil for the sake of being evil villain that he was in the Karate Kid movies. They do touch on the fact that he was in Nam in those movies, but this really fleshes it out to where it's like, he's a complete piece of shit, but you can see this guy has seen some shit. He's had some real trauma, and it's messed him up.
It has messed him up, but you can also see that he's not a great guy anyway.
He's not a great guy anyway, no. But it fleshes out his character a lot more than just evil man. You know, it's like, no, he does have, it does set things up. And flesh out his character quite nicely, I think. Yeah,
I mean the stuff with his commander and stuff was actually quite good. I
really liked all that stuff. Yeah,
and the when they're in the sort of the pit fighting and all that sort of stuff, and you get the fact that he kept this secret from him.
Yeah,
I think that pretty much tips him over, doesn't it? That completely seals him as an asshole for the rest of his life, I think.
Oh yeah, absolutely it does. Yeah, it's a tremendous fleshing out of his backstory, though. So in the briefly, I guess. I mean, we're assuming you've seen season 2 at this point. Season 3 opens a little while after season 2, and Johnny's obviously lost his dojo to Kreese. So he's going to try and set up his own school, and we get that wonderful stuff where he's shopping around for a place, and then he finally is like, I can use this place for free, You're just giving me this place for free, and the guy's just like, it's a public park. Like, do what you want. Like, it's just some random guy, some random dude there, and he starts up his new class. I can't think what the name of the school is. It's like Eagle
Fang,
and even one of the kids is like, eagles don't have fangs. Like, what are you talking about?
No, but it's badass.
But it's badass, and he's like, eagles kill snakes, and I was like, okay, Johnny.
Well, I think you actually get what I did like is you get a lot of the first sort of couple of episodes. It's him wallowing, so you do get, and I think they do just enough to make you go, oh god, this is beginning to get on my nerves. They tip it over quite nicely enough so that they don't dwell on it too much.
I think this series does that. Like you said that with Hawk, and I think this movie does this series does that throughout, where it's like just as something's almost overstaying its welcome, they change it, and you're like, cool. And they do that periodically, which I thought was really good. I'm glad that they did make a big deal about the injury, and we focus on how that's affected both sides, or all three sides, I guess, in this series, which I really liked. There were real consequences. We saw real consequences for the school fight and stuff like that. It wasn't just like, back to school. It was like, no, we're searching for weapons. We're searching.
It continues to take the piss out of woke stuff.
It really does, doesn't it?
And I'm hoping that Netflix doesn't ruin it and change stuff for the next season. But so far they've been keeping so true to what they've done so far. They have been.
And also, by the way, whilst having a very diverse cast. And doing them justice and the existing characters
justice.
Despite
the fact that people keep saying, "Oh, there's too many white people in it," and it's like no, just watch the fucking series.
Watch the actual show. Yeah, it's a diverse cast.
It's absolutely brilliant, and one of the things I love about it the most is the fact that basically the students, the main sort of students of Miguel and Sam are literally the opposites of their teachers.
They are, yes, which is great, and that really serves the plot later on.
Yeah, it's cliche, but it's brilliantly done. It's so.
And I think that this season in particular, more so than season 1 and 2, I think Johnny rehabilitating Miguel following his accident really shows that I think Johnny might be the better teacher. Than LaRusso.
Despite the fact is some of his
but he works. He's so dedicated and passionate towards what he's doing.
He genuinely loves Miguel. He completely regrets that it all went wrong, and that he wasn't prepared enough. He didn't quite see what was going to happen because no one could. It was as simple as that.
No, absolutely.
His own, as you said about him and that conversation with Daniel about Grease. Yeah, he wanted to see the good in Grease. He wanted to see that he was a better person.
Yeah, in many ways, Johnny would have made a great Miyagi student. Or at least maybe not the Johnny back then, but the Johnny now.
Yeah.
And this season really does play with the fact that you've got LaRusso and Johnny who are way more alike than they're ever willing to admit.
Yeah.
And we get
also full props for taking Miguel to see Twisted Sister. Well, that was fucking awesome.
Saying that he's gonna die. They're like the bouncer won't let him in, and he's like, he's gonna be dead in like a week, and this is his one wish. And then you got like Twisted Sister on stage, and they give him a shout out. They're like, "Oh, it's a Make-A-Wish kid here, everyone!" It's like, oh my god, so good, so good. I was just so impressed. And then, of course, we've got the wonderful dining scene. I said to you a couple of episodes ago, because you'd watched a lot of this by that point, I said, I hope there's another dining scene, because it feels like whenever they sit down at a table, in the first season it was at LaRusso's house, second season it was at a restaurant, third season it's at the Christmas party.
Yeah.
Have a Christmas party. And I was a little worried about how this was going to go. it went well. It went very well. It gave me everything I wanted. Because they bring back what's her name? What is her name? I forget her character's name from the Karate Kid.
Ali.
Ali, sorry, yes. They bring back Ali, which they teased previously.
Elizabeth Shue's character.
Yeah, they teased previously, and we got this wonderful stuff where Johnny's training Miguel to rehabilitate, and Miguel is training Johnny in how to not be creepy on Facebook. It's like, what are you doing? He's like, I bet you've gone through and liked all of her pictures as well. He's like, well, yeah, that's what they're there for, right?
The button's there for, isn't
it? And Johnny's photos, when he sends him out to do photo, he's like a photo shoot. Good. So good. So Ali returns, and I was really worried because I feel like Johnny's been shit on enough now, right? Yeah. And I was getting to the point where, he's finally having the relationship with Miguel's mum. Mm-hmm. He finally has that wonderful, they finally date, they have sex, and it's set up to where, I'll see you later, I'll see you whenever. And then Ali comes on the scene, and I was like, oh, please don't. And I was really worried that the Christmas thing, when they stood outside, I thought she was going to see her, and it would all go to shit again. And I was like, no, please don't do that.
Yeah, I kept waiting for that as well, and they didn't. It was so refreshing.
And I was so happy. And Ali is wonderful in this series. Yep. She turns up, she's sort of a love interest. They're both they both loved her, lusted after her in their childhood, so there's still that connection. Mm-hmm. But she's not there to get in the way, and she turns up and she's like, you two are so alike. Yeah. And then obviously Daniel's wife gets on really well with Ali. There's no jealousy, because it was all like, oh, is this just going to be like the cliched, Daniel's wife gets jealous and all of that. And then, Miguel's mother turns up and sees them, and it's all goes to shit. And they didn't do it. And I was so glad. And it's such a wonderful, wonderful scene where she gets them to reconcile and realize once and for all. We've had this hinted since season 1. They've been touching on this every now and again. They're like, look, you're mirrors of each other. You're so alike. And finally they're forced to kind of see that.
And the scene afterwards where they're in the car park waiting for his car to turn up.
Yeah.
Just them sort of talking.
Wonderful. It's such a nice scene.
It was so good. It's so brilliantly written and so, so amazingly sort of heartfelt that you just think you can't help but love this series.
It's really genuine. It's so wonderful. Wonderful. And the ending. Oh. Yep. The ending of this is perfect. Perfect. Well, actually, the very ending is perfect with the song being perfect as well. But the fight we finally got. That was such a good fight. When they go to Kreese's, when they go to Cobra Kai, I was like, oh yes, because I've been waiting for this. It was so good, and it all comes down. And there's that other scene as well, which I really want to talk about or just touch on and mention how wonderful the scene is, where you've got Kreese, Daniel, and Johnny having a hearing to see whether the karate competition could go ahead.
The Valley competition, and Valley.
It's the kids. They are the ones that persuaded. I love that scene. It was a wonderful scene. And because they're all LaRusso is just as bad as Johnny. And Kreese is obviously worse, but all three of them are there, and none of them are going to do any. Then none of them are going to get this competition put back.
One of the best things about Kreese in this season is he completely uses all the woke stuff.
Yeah, he does
to make him seem like a better guy. It's fucking brilliant.
Yeah,
he completely manipulates the situation to make Daniel and his wife look like lunatics.
Yeah, he really does.
It's amazing. It was so well done.
He's so manipulative.
He did that. It's like he Daniel's wife slaps him. At one point,
and then he's assault. You assaulted me, and he gets a restraining.
He literally gets a restraining order
because they go to get a restraining order against him. Turn up at the police station. Is like, there's already a restraining order against you.
It's you,
fantastic.
And she is brilliant as well. His wife.
Honestly, I don't think there's a weak member of this cast. Right. Really, I would say Daniel's daughter sometimes. annoys me a little.
I think she needs a little bit more experience. Courtney Hengler, that's the who plays Amanda, his wife. She's so
fantastic.
Good.
Yeah.
I love this. Is that like the wry smile she gives, and the sort of the eye rolling, and I love the scene where they're in the car, they're going to find Johnny's son, and she says, "Who do you think you are, Tango and Cash?" And he's like, "Tango and Cash were narc cops. This is entirely different."
Yeah, because Johnny's just like, he's so stuck in that period. I love that. He's just never grown up. Yeah. We also have the stuff with Kamiko.
Oh yes,
which is also another one where I was like, don't have him have an affair. This is going to be awful if he has an affair.
That is where I thought, is he gonna go back and see her?
We're just used to seeing bad shows and bad TV to where I'm like, oh god, eye roll, and then it doesn't happen. I'm like, oh good.
No, and also not only that, they bring back Chosen,
and he's great. I love him in this.
So brilliant. And okay, the whole...
He's got the biggest, the scariest look on his face all the time.
Brilliant. And I do think some of the stuff with the Miyagi-Do has secret teachings is like, oh, really? Okay, that's a bit... But I'm willing to forgive it. It's fine. It's not...
It's earned.
It earned enough. My only problem, I would say, with this season is Johnny's son... Robbie, I don't think they know what to do with him.
They don't do that. I was going to say that is one thing this season. He's kind of thrown aside. I think they have a plan for him in season 4. I just don't think they knew what to do with him for this season. I think they've got too many storylines going on, and they really couldn't focus on him. So he kind of just disappears for most of the season.
Yeah, and whenever he is around, he's slightly annoying, and it's it's the only story that's so sort of, can we not do this?
Yeah.
It's the can we not do the beaten the bullies in the correctional facility and him standing up and them not snitching on each other to bond. That was the only one. That was the only storyline that felt a little too forced.
Yeah, I agree. But other than that, we've rambled through this, but God, this season was good. This show is fantastic.
It is, and it's
and don't buy into the bullshit, because this has a diverse cast. It does.
It does have a diverse cast.
Yes. There's a reason why it's got white male leads, because the original fucking movies had white male leads. Look beyond that and watch the show, and you'll realise that it's got a massively diverse cast of kids.
It's done exactly what every other show hasn't done, and that's every other show has specifically brought new characters in to undermine what went before.
Yes, and they've not done that. They've respected the past characters.
This is exactly gone. No, we wanted to tell this story about these guys bringing new people in.
Yeah, and
in a good way.
We can build a diverse cast of really interesting characters without shitting on the existing characters.
Yeah,
and this show.
And
does
I love
that
one of my
perfectly.
favourite ones that some fucking buddy tried to bring up was. Oh, why is a show about karate got no Asians in it? It's like, what? Seriously? Are you fucking kidding me? It's like you can only
this season did.
Only do karate
this season did if you watched
it.
If you're
Asian.
Yeah. But it's also this season did if you watched it.
Yeah, of course.
I mean, there's a big portion of the season where LaRusso leaves and goes,
to Japan.
So there is. Watch the show.
It's almost these people will try almost anything they possibly can to try and bring this show down.
It's never enough. That's the problem. It's never enough, and I think this show does a wonderful job. And I think a lot of the people saying these things have clearly not watched it. I honestly can't rate this show highly enough. I would recommend everyone watch it. And if you haven't watched season 1, go watch season 1 and start from the start, because it's great.
It is the best show of a sort of reboot or continuation.
I agree.
That we've had for years. I can't think of another one that's been anywhere near this good.
No, not a continuation, certainly.
And it's also the weirdest thing about this whole thing is this just the idea that you would continue the Karate Kid.
When they first announced it, I was like, "What? Like, why would you do that?" Like I thought it was a joke trailer to begin with when they first announced it.
I think that's the thing about this thing that's the most surprising is that I think when they announced it and they showed the trailers and that it felt like it was going to be a parody show.
Yeah.
It felt like it was just going to be a silly parody show that was going to have a few laughs at Karate Kid's expense, and that would be it. But it's not. It's a genuinely heartfelt continuation of the Karate Kid.
Superbly written.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
It takes it. It does what all those shows should have been doing all along, and you take what was good about those shows. You take in the films. You take all those things, and you build on them. You don't tear them down.
Absolutely.
Which is what Doctor Who and Star Trek and Star Wars has been trying to do. They want the new fans. They don't fuck the old fans because we want our ideals in there, and we want we want to tear down what came before to make to build up a new and better thing. It's like, no, don't do that. It's like no one, because it's not genuine and no one takes those fucking things seriously.
I wonder why no one's watching our show anymore.
Yeah,
I just can't figure out why that is.
I
guess everybody is racist and sexist. That's the only explanation.
Of course we are.
Wonderful show. Let's not go negative. Let's stay positive because this was great.
Because it's fantastic.
That is a show I can recommend all day long. It's fantastic.
And there's so many like great things in this season. Like the whole sort of the idea that the school is taking away that their karate stuff. They're trying to stop the bullying. They're trying to it's like and they're blinding themselves to what's actually going on. It's so well done.
It's fantastic.
Brilliant. And all the characters like Dimitri and that who are still like struggling just to sort of get through the day. Yeah. It's without like Hawk beating the crap out of him. It's great. It's brilliant. It's so fucking well done. I can't say enough good stuff about this series. It's genuinely the best thing out there right now.
Yeah, it's incredible. It's tremendous, and watch it. It's fantastic. It really is. So that's that. Highly recommend it. So this Sunday, finally, we're going to get a Godzilla vs. Kong trailer.
Yep.
Holy fucking shit. And it's about time because
not far away now. It's March.
Well, they've moved it up to March, and it was like, as soon as they moved it from May to March, it was like, why you've done no promotion? Like you've done no promotion. What are you doing? This is insane. And then like literally this week they've gone crazy with promotion. We've got a new poster. We've got 3 TV spots that have gone live, and now we've got a trailer coming on Sunday. Cautiously optimistic.
I know. I can't remember. Is it Sky that's got it over here? I can't remember.
We don't know.
No.
It's not been announced. I'm hoping the trailer will clear that up because we can't watch it right now legally. I suppose I can. I'll just have to use a VPN and subscribe to HBO Max. It's going to be a pain in the ass. It's basically like we've got no option because it's HBO Max or cinemas. Cinemas aren't open in the UK. So I'm assuming it's Sky because I think this is the reason why HBO Max is really screwed about coming over to England because Sky owns the rights to HBO
Yeah, they've got
stuff.
a deal with Sky, haven't they?
So I'm assuming it will be on the Sky, come to Sky, which is fine as long as I can watch it.
I'm totally willing to pay for that.
Oh, I will pay. I mean, I'm a huge Godzilla fan. I will definitely pay.
Exactly.
I have no doubt. And I said to my housemate, and my fiance, because she was like, "Would you pay 30 quid to see it?" I was like, "Yeah, absolutely, I will. I will pay 30 quid to see it because I'll watch it. Because also, well, even if I can't own it, if it's a rental for £30, if I've got my housemate and my fiance watching it, it's still cheaper than the cinema.
That's true.
It works out, right? But we don't know it's going to be that price, and I may be able to own it anyway. Either way, I'm going to watch it. I'll tell you that now.
Absolutely.
I will watch it, and I've got no bones about doing so because I own every Godzilla movie ever made. I will own this one. I will buy it. I will spend my money on this film eventually.
Yeah.
There's no doubt. So,
I mean, as long as they keep going with what they've done so far, I'm really I'm happy.
Yeah,
you know?
I mean, I was initially a little concerned when I saw the 2-second bit they put up. It's kind of like, how are they stood on an aircraft carrier without the aircraft carrier snapping in half and falling into the ocean? But fine, it's gonna be some big.
How big is that fucking aircraft carrier?
Well, actually, funnily enough, I was worried about this as well. But people have done their research, and the biggest aircraft carrier that America makes, you could have King Ghidorah stood on it. It's massive.
Really?
They're massive. Massive.
I know the American ones are fucking ridiculous. Someone's
actually
big enough to...
Someone's actually worked it out.
Because this Godzilla's like the biggest Godzilla, isn't he?
No.
Is he not?
Godzilla Earth is the biggest.
Oh, yeah, okay.
You know.
All right, yes, okay. Yeah.
And I think Shin might be taller, actually. I think Shin Godzilla's taller as well. But
I thought he was bigger than Shin.
He might be. But he's ridiculously big. But anyway, these aircraft carriers are massive. So basically, yes. The answer is yes. They could both be on it at the same time. Now, why it doesn't immediately sink to the bottom of the ocean or snap in half is another question. But I'm assuming it's going to be some future-y tech. It won't be an aircraft carrier. It'll be an Apex or Monarch thing that's designed for transporting Kong. Or, it'll be something.
Yeah.
And it does look like it's going to sink. It's just kind of, it's there for now.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, yeah, the Monarch stuff is going to be designed for probably transporting Kong. So yeah, I guess.
And I will say one thing that the TV spots have done for me more than anything else.
What's that?
I was convinced that Kong was going to win because Kong's the underdog. Kong's got to win. Seeing him now, Kong is fucking massive.
Oh yeah.
So now
they did say he was going to be. They did say that
they said he was going to grow, but there's growing, and then there's this. He's like taller than Godzilla now, or as tall as Godzilla.
Yeah.
So now it looks like Godzilla's almost the underdog. If you take, I suppose he's got the atomic breath, but now it feels like a much more even match. I feel like it could go either way now.
The main problem with putting those two together is that
they're going to team up.
Yes,
they're going to team up.
Of course they are. But yes, Godzilla's like a lot more dexterous, and not Godzilla. Kong's a lot more dexterous, and he can jump around a lot more. But Godzilla's got atomic breath. That kind of
it does. It does. Well, of course, in the TV spot now we see a Kong jumping at Godzilla with this axe, and Godzilla hitting the axe with his atomic breath, and the atomic breath is glowing on the axe. So the axe is obviously able to deflect or stop it. There's toys out there of Kong with the axe, and the axe looks like it's made from one of Godzilla's dorsal fins.
Oh, cool.
So that could work. That makes some sense. But the weird thing is, it's going to be weird having Kong now that he's so big that he can't climb skyscrapers or anything. He's too big for that now. He can't do it unless he jumps on them very briefly and then they collapse under his weight as he jumps to the next one.
Like leaping from.
But he's not going to be doing what you expect Kong to do.
Well, I guess no.
I thought Kong was going to be like half Godzilla's height, but just be really agile and really quick. But seeing him now, it is just going to be a straight up, fight. I'm excited. I loved King of the Monsters is, objectively a very stupid movie, but I love it. As a Godzilla fan, they gave me everything. And they listened again. They listened to everyone's complaints about the first movie that they did, which I liked as well.
There's a lot to like about that first movie.
There is. I mean, a lot.
It spends far too much time with the humans.
It does,
and it wants you to care for a character that you really don't give a shit about. Which is terrible. Really bad.
The wrong character died in that movie. Basically,
completely the wrong character died. But
but it was fine, and King of the Monsters, I think, for all of its faults, it was fan service, and as a fan, not being objective, just purely subjective, I had so much fun watching that film in the cinema. This movie, especially with them standing on the aircraft carrier, it's like, wow, you're getting to the point now. It's like they're pushing it into like Showa era 70s silly. Godzilla.
Yeah.
But do you know what? Fine. Like, and there's rumors of Mecha Godzilla being in this and stuff. And
as long as they don't piss about, if they lean into it and just go for it.
Yeah, that's the thing.
It's the whole idea where a lot of these things fail is they build their world and then they fuck it up.
Yeah.
The world they're building here so far, it's ridiculous. But it's a case of but that's
it is. It's ridiculous from the start. And the thing is with this, it's like, okay, now they're stood on an aircraft carrier. That's ridiculous. But it's like, well, it's obviously probably not going to just be an aircraft carrier. It'll be some kind of Apex or Monarch thing designed for transport or something like that. And also, in King of the Monsters, they went as farther than I expected them to go. They were like, no, King Ghidorah, fucking alien.
Yeah,
it's an alien dragon.
Yep.
So it's like, no, they really are going for it now. They don't care, and I don't care. I'm really, really excited. I'm looking forward to it. I'm glad it's finally coming out in March. I hope I can see it, on Sky or something. Because I'd like to also, to be clear, I want this series to continue. I want to give you money, Warner Brothers.
Yeah.
I want to give you money to make this continue.
I just give us hope, just for that there's a series of movies that we can all
enjoy,
root for. Still,
I feel like they've sacrificed Godzilla vs Kong, haven't they? I think that's what's happened. I think Legendary have said, you can have Godzilla vs Kong, pay us the money, you can have it, but June is a cinema release. I think that's what they're trying to go for.
You think?
I could be wrong. I hope. Anyway, because that's something I really need to see in the cinemas, June.
I really want to see it. I mean, I want to see this in the cinema, to be honest. But
so do I. But and to be honest, if it does get released in cinemas when cinemas reopen, I will probably go see it again in the cinema. But yeah, this is a movie I don't want spoiled, so I'm going to have to see it one way or another because I follow a lot of Godzilla groups and I there's no way this wouldn't be spoiled if I didn't see it. So I have to see it. But yeah, looking forward to it, and I'm very excited for the trailer this Sunday. So I can't believe I'm that excited about just a trailer. But there's been nothing for so long. It's like, oh, finally, it's all happening now.
Yeah. They've moved.
Bond again.
It's a Bond again, as if anybody cares.
I really don't care anymore. It's like Wonder Woman, where they just delayed it so long. I don't care.
Yeah, it's like, don't care. Really. I mean, I know they're clearly holding out for money. It's but what they're doing. It
must be costing them a fortune to not release it.
I know. That's the thing. It's like, well, that's surely at this point you should be at the point now where you've got to do something with it. Surely,
you would think.
Because I mean, there's already very little goodwill I see towards this anyway.
It feels like a hell of a gamble putting it back to November.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's like, I just don't know if people are going to go to the cinema to see it. Like, It's a gamble. It's a real gamble at this point. I think they should just release it.
Yep. I mean, I don't really want to see it, but
no. No, I mean, I will see it, but I'm not going to go rush out to see it. That's for sure.
And in a weird one for Star Wars, so a series that we don't care about, the Cassian Andor series.
Oh yes,
has basically just said that Alan Tudyk isn't going to be in it.
Who's Alan?
No,
who does he play?
So he was the voice of K2SO.
Oh, of course, yeah. No, he was like the main reason I was going to watch that show.
Exactly, he was the only reason to watch that show. The only reason, because anything else in that show is pointless, and just the opportunity to see him again was the only thing that had a vague interest.
Because he was my favourite part of Rogue One, to be honest.
Exactly. Except for the Vader bit, that was the best thing about that movie.
Yes, I mean, he was the one thing that kept me going through the other, the running time of hours.
It's a case of they already sort of made a series that doesn't make sense to make anyway, because that character had reached a turning point in his own life where anything they do before that isn't going to matter to that character.
Yes, yeah.
And the only reason to have how are they gonna make that series fun now?
I don't know
because he was the only thing that was going to be fun about that series.
Yeah, that's a real shame. That's bizarre, but
so very odd choice.
That's a very odd choice.
But there you go.
Well, before we go, we should probably mention the passing of Mira Furlan today.
No, I did not hear that.
Yeah, this sometime today. I saw it at lunchtime.
Fuck.
Yeah. A wonderful actress. For me, Babylon 5, one of my favourite TV shows of all time. In which she plays Ambassador Delenn, a wonderful character that she plays phenomenally. She was in Lost, although I didn't really watch Lost, so I can't really comment too much on
She was actually very good in Lost for...
I'm sure she was.
For what her part was.
She's recently been in Space Command, which I've actually really enjoyed. I don't know if you've ever talked about Space Command, but I quite enjoyed it.
I don't think we have, no.
It's good fun. Have you watched any of it?
I think I've seen bits of it. I haven't seen a lot of it.
It's all on green screen, so some of it looks quite ropey, but it's fun. It's a fun, like, classic sci-fi show. Well, it's a classic sci-fi writer, isn't it? So, it makes sense.
Yeah.
But yeah, she's been great in that. Real loss. I was really gutted by it, to be honest, when I read about it today. So, yes. Mira Furlan.
Man, I'm gutted.
Yeah, apparently her health's been failing for quite a while. It's been known. Apparently, Straczynski posted and said it's been known her health's been failing for a while. But she wasn't that. I don't think she's that old either. She's in her 60s, but not
65.
65. Yeah, that's no age to go, is it? But
she's older than I thought she was actually. But
yeah, she's aged well.
Yeah,
she aged well. But
oh man, I can't believe. We should also mention. Now my brain's gone. She was in Dracula.
Barbara Shelley.
Thank you, Barbara Shelley.
Prince of Darkness actress. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And she was in Doctor Who as well, wasn't she?
Yes, she was. Yeah, she was a tremendous actress. She was an older lady. So
yeah. But yeah, I mean, I love Dracula, Prince of Darkness. And fantastic.
She is.
She was in Quatermass as well. Quatermass and the Pit. Oh, yeah.
Her character in Dracula is brilliant because she's
in Rasputin as well, I think.
Sorry?
She's in Rasputin as well.
Yes,
I think.
she was in Rasputin.
She's in some of Hammer's best movies, basically.
She was in. Yes, exactly. She's so good. There was her character in Dracula, she starts off as this horrible, prissy sort of busybody, and then she gets turned and she's there this sexy, brilliant bride who's fantastic. Yeah. I loved her in the Dracula movie. It's fantastic. So yeah, Barbara Shelley, which is
that's a real shame. Yeah. But
oh man.
On that downer.
Yeah.
I think we're pretty much there. What are we going to watch next time, Matt? Have you had any thoughts?
Honestly, I have not.
No,
I've not given it a thought. I really should have, shouldn't I?
Well, that's We'll have a thought.
Well, I guess leave it with me, and I'll
all right.
I'll come up with some options in the week.
Sounds good to me.
Again.
Thank you for listening, everybody, and we will catch you next time when we will review a movie.
Yes.
Take care and stay safe, and we'll catch you next time.